Sorry guys, I'm pushing my bike. He went around the corner. I haven't either. Can I ask what this is about?
I guess they left. There were some folks camping in the thing down there, and they left a lot of trash last night.
Well, that's
It
understandable.
looks like it got rectified.
It's understandable. That's the whole reason everybody gets mad at us out here.
Yeah, it looks like it got rectified. They're making a pretty good mess up there, and that's kind of their new spot. I mean, I get it. It's hard to find spots.
If they just clean up after themselves.
Exactly. If they could see that. I never caught up with you again after that, but what I told you on the smoking thing was correct. If your thing that you got was like the square is here,
As long as you're on that side of the white
as
lines.
long as you're like, if you look along the face of the business, if you're on that side of it, kind of like where the state people, you gave me grief that one day because I wouldn't do anything. They're actually good as long as they're right around that corner. So I don't know where the 15 feet thing came from.
I've had multiple officers say it, and so have other homeless individuals.
Well, you won't get it from me because
But I also noticed that a lot of the state people don't even come to the side of the buildings or the sidewalks. They'll go right there in the corner, right at the blocks, and they'll smoke.
Yeah.
I've got a delivery driver with another cop in behind him. I don't know which one it was because I didn't ask. But he stands over, and two state people are right behind the blocks standing there smoking while he's sitting there, and they
behind them, but where at it? Like
right there in the square, right in front of the Hers building.
okay, so like
The 4 blocks in the corners.
Oh, I got you.
She was standing right there. She's done a cam back on me too.
Well, I can't find the 15 feet thing.
Well,
and I think you and I are on the same page. It's
as long as I'm behind what would be considered the white line.
It's the square for me.
Because Shepard did arrest me for it. So that would have been an inbound unlawful arrest.
Be curious. Because for me, that's like the Hers building there, and the road goes to leave the square here. Everything here is the square as far as I'm concerned, and everything from that point on.
Okay, so basically, the way you're showing it to me is if this is the white line, and I'm standing in front of the yield sign, I was still arrested.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
And a lot of it was just because I had this on him. It was retaliation.
Yeah, because for me, that's the. And it's possible I read it wrong, but
It's possible I am too.
I go by what I read. But for me, that's the square, and that's the road that goes around the square, and this would be like the.
As long as you're past these lines here.
Yeah, for me, like
Okay.
this
See,
is the Hers building right here. As far as I'm concerned,
See-
the face of this building right here represents
I
the
was-
square.
I was on this side of the white line where the crosswalk would be.
Okay.
And I was still arrested for it.
Yeah, because I read it as though like if that right there is the Hers building, and that's the sidewalk in front and the sidewalk along the side and then the road. As long as you're behind the face of the buildings that surround the square, like just behind the face of the door, I can't read anything about 15.
Some of you guys with my first video of him over by the VA, you guys called him a unicorn. I call him more than that. This is an officer that respects people's rights.
Oh,
I'm talking to my viewers.
I thought you were talking to me.
He respects my rights, and he's trying to rectify stuff so people don't get stupid tickets.
Well, I read it like it's pretty simple. It's the whole ordinance. You've read it. The whole ordinance is like this long. It's, the longer they get, the more complicated and stupid it gets. That ordinance is this long. And then there's that little thing in there that you can click on that defines what is the square. And when I click on it, it says about this big of a paragraph, this is the square.
Well, in what I see in the ordinance, what defines as the square is the center.
Yeah.
It doesn't really pertain to the sidewalks in front of the library, around the Hers building, and everything else.
It says something in there about
But how?
the adjacent buildings forward in and all that, but it's.
But how could you limit somebody's rights to do something in a public park?
I can say that everything is challengeable in a court of law
Because that would be limiting any of my rights.
because because how they get by with it, like on that, or you can't do certain things in a national park or whatever, is they have an umbrella of public good, public safety, and it's been through a lot of challenges. I know when they put the smoking ordinance in, like citywide, you can't smoke 25 feet in front of the business, all that stuff. Oh, it went through a ton of legal challenges, and people made the same argument. They're like, it's a public sidewalk. Why can't I smoke on a public sidewalk and not have some guy say, hey, look, you're 25 feet in front of a business, you're getting a ticket? It went through a couple legal challenges. Whether you or I agree with it, the legal challenges said, yes, this law can stand and people can be prosecuted.
It just has to be going to the Supreme Court.
But you and I both know that there's a lot of laws that are technically okay legally that don't make much sense.
Yeah, I know.
As far as what a guy can and can't do.
I understand, but it's like I done a live stream the other night, and I had one of your guys' officers tell me I couldn't walk up to a police car. Sorry, I'm trying to watch my bike over there at the same time.
I mean, I don't care if you walk out.
He literally told me I couldn't walk up and stick my camera on the windshield.
Well, I don't know what particular law would prevent that, as long as you're not obstructing some guy's official business.
As long as I'm not breaching that window.
Yeah, and you're not obstructing.
I could literally walk up and kick the tires by federal law.
I mean,
I'm inspecting the people's property.
I can see if he's on a traffic stop.
No, he was sitting in the flame alley.
No, doesn't bother me. I'm not doing anything I need to do
I understand. He was, though. And then the other officer that decided to cuss.
No worries for me.
No, you've been pretty respectful to me.
I don't get excited about stuff. I get that everybody's got their role in this world, man. And you've taken your role is to keep an eye on what we do and make sure that we're not doing the wrong thing. And, being hard on our ass if we are doing the wrong thing. But I'm not doing the wrong thing, so I got.
And I'll forgive you for the language because you're not supposed to use it by your code.
Well, I understand that. We're two guys talking.
We are. We're consensual conversation.
Yeah, we're not having a,
but in your official capacity, you are not to use any inappropriate language.
And obviously, when you do use that, sometimes the context too. If I'm directing that at you or something like that, that's gets to a different level than just two guys talking. But we're having we're just conversing. It's
the other officer. He threw the city council and the mayor under the bus.
What?
He said they approve of it. They let him talk like that. He said, "Fuck, shit, goddamn, everything live."
I can assure you the city council and mayor does not endorse or approve any such.
It was a live stream.
No,
I had about 30 something people watching, and they're all. I don't think he's allowed to talk like that in his official capacity.
No, and I work for everybody in the city, the mayor, everybody, but my boss is the police chief, and I guarantee you the police chief does not allow that.
And I asked him if he swore that on the mayor and the police chief, and he said yes.
The police chief does not. Chief Williams absolutely.
City
does.
council, he said I'll be there Monday morning.
In fact, we've had officers disciplined when an official complaint has been made about language, and it's showed on body camera that you F-bombed this lady or you did this. They've been disciplined for it, which I do like about Springfield. It's very rare. Like, we have guys come from other communities like St. Louis and stuff like that. They're amazed that we actually get disciplined for things like that, because you can imagine the things they get away with in some other cities where people are just like, just ride a desk for a couple weeks, it's fine. Not here. We have guys get disciplined for stuff. You get disciplined for getting in crashes. You get disciplined if somebody records you driving like an animal around town and they make a complaint. You can.
How about failing to use a turn signal?
If somebody makes an official complaint that's backed up,
I've made few and had video.
They do follow up on that stuff. Now, you guys don't do their job over a turn signal, but that stuff does get followed up on.
It shows the lack of transparency. If they're not going to do something to them, but they're going to do something to me for not using my turn signal, that's not right.
No, it's not.
Even in your official, I can understand if you're on a hot pursuit or something, that'd be different. But
oh, sure. Well, and they tell us that in the academy. That's one of the things that Matt Brown, God rest his soul, stressed to us in the academy is if you're rolling through stop signs on third shift because no one's around, or you're running 60 down Kearney, don't be the guy that stops the guy from speeding on Kearney or rolling through a stop sign, because you're that guy.
Exactly.
And that always stuck with me.
That's being a hypocrite.
That stuck with me that, if I'm driving around with a headlight out, I can't stop the guy from having a headlight out.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
So. But, no, I thought I'd catch up with you about that. I don't see anything about that.
Okay.
So I don't know
as long as I'm behind that white line, I'm going to say if you guys got any complaints about it, I'm going to say go talk to Officer Schatz.
Well, and I don't know about the white line. I'd have to go visually look at that, because like I said,
what I'm talking about is the white line where the crosswalks are. You got the one that's on this side, and then the one that's on this side. I usually stand on the one that's closest to the
way I read it, as long as
I'm usually far back enough.
Like the building, if this is the Hers building right here.
Yep.
And the square's out here.
Well, see, their building's darn near right even with the crosswalk.
But yeah, so if I'm square here and the square's here and this is the corner of the Hers building, here I'm no good.
As long as I'm on the west side of the Hers building, I'm good.
Right here, I'm good. Beyond the face of the building, this is the square. Right here,
I'm just gonna stick what I've been doing and trying to stay right around the bike racks.
It's also one of those things.
Officer discretion too.
The guy is foot this way. We're really gonna go make a giant thing because the guy's 6 inches this way or a foot that way. Because you've seen the state people. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're there.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube.
I gotta hassle people, for a foot.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Now, if they're just standing there in the middle of the square, chain smoking one after another, that's understandable.
Yeah, so everybody's different, man.
I understand.
I try not to be that guy.
And you've noticed I've kind of mellowed out a little bit.
You don't call me bad names.
No, me and you after that day, we've got a different rapport here. You're being respectful, and you're trying to explain things the way you see them, and I'm trying to explain things the way I see them. We're trying to...
Oh, and that's all it takes. I get to record you every time we talk. I shouldn't be offended that you're recording me.
No.
Unless I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing.
A lot of them are here.
But you know how it is, too. It's just one of those weird things, like behaviorally, whether you're a cop or not, your average citizen. If some lady was walking down the street or some guy and you just started recording them, it spurs something in people. They're like, what the hell's going on? Why is this guy recording me? I don't understand what's going on. We just have to remember we're a little bit different. We get to record people. That's
one thing I think you guys need to start doing, because I've had a few people say something, I had, yesterday, I filmed Cotton Jim and several others over at,
You don't like Cotton?
No, I'm not, it's not even talking about him, but there was several others.
Okay.
I was being good. I was standing on, because I'm trespassing come and go over here on Kimber. I was standing on the sidewalk and sitting there filming him, as quiet as could be. And the gal looked over and says, stop filming me. I think you guys need to start telling them that we have every right to film in public. Instead of just riding off and saying, I don't know why he's filming, he should have went over there and said, that's his First Amendment right.
Yeah, and it is true.
Because they're going to turn around. If I stay there and keep filming, they're going to turn around and keep call you back, and then you're going to have to come out and explain it anyway. Your best bet would be to go ahead and explain it to begin with, what he's there for.
Yep.
He's here to hold us accountable and our duties.
Well, you're on YouTube. You've seen plenty of people get clowned for thinking they can tell people what they can and can't do in public, and they end up getting clowned on YouTube and getting 20,000 people laughing at them because they just didn't realize you can't just make people stop doing things you don't like them to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're in public.
And it can be hard for us because most of the day I get to go around and I get to tell people, hey, you can't do this, hey, you can't do that, but you got to turn it on and off at the appropriate time.
There's a time and a place.
So, well, it's good talking to you.
Good talking to you.
See you, boss.
You have a good day.
You too, man.
That was Jeffrey Schatz, Springfield, Missouri. I'll be uploading this pretty quick.
No worries.
You can go watch it if you want.